Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a writing update and just talking about some of my writing projects that I've got going on, some new stuff, some stuff that I've talked about before, and some exciting news. First off, I'll share with you my current writing project that I've been working on that I'm almost done with. I've got one chapter left and then I will be done with the first draft. Although by the time you see this video, because I am pre-recording it, by the time you see this video, I should be done with this chapter and I should be completely done with the first draft of this book. So to future me, yay, I finally did it. I finished the book. And so the book, this one that I'm working on, which is probably not one that you guys are going to be expecting or thinking of, but it is actually a non-fiction book. So I've been working on the past several months. I've had a couple fiction projects and a couple non-fiction projects that I've been working on. And one of my non-fiction projects, the one that will be completely done by the time this video goes up, is a Christian personal development book. So it goes through and looks at different areas of our lives, mental, emotional, spiritual, relational, just like the different areas of our lives and how we can grow in each of these areas using principles from the Bible. So that's been my nonfiction project, one of my nonfiction projects that I've been working on, and I'm finally so excited done with that. So at this point, at this stage, I've gotten the first draft of the book done. And with this book, I want to include kind of like workbook questions at the end of each chapter to give people, some questions to reflect on and ways to help them grow in each of these areas. So I think right now, because I'm going to take a break from this book before I go back and do the first round of edits. So during that break, I think I'm going to work on the workbook questions that are going to go along with each of the chapters. I do have I think I have maybe half of the workbook questions done already. So I just need to finish those. So I'll probably work on that. And then after that, I will go back in and begin the first round of edits. But I'm happy to say I can cross off write a book off my goal list for this year. So that was one of my New Year's goals for this year, was to actually write a book. And now I can cross that off. Although I thought it was going to be a fiction book, I didn't realize I would start off with the nonfiction at the time. But that's okay. I think, it's because nonfiction really is, to me, a lot easier to write than fiction. Fiction, there's so much you got to do. There's a whole world that you're building. You got characters you got to get to know and develop. And there's so much to it. Whereas nonfiction, you're basically just talking about a topic or subject that you know and you like talking about. So to me, nonfiction can be easier unless it's like a memoir where you're talking about yourself, in which case maybe not so easy. But in this case, with the personal development book, so much easier than a fiction book. So figures that would be the one I finished first. So now going into some of my fiction projects, I kind of want to update you on those as well. So recently I've had an idea for a new project, which I won't tell you too much about it right now because it's still very new, very early on in the stages. Haven't really done much with the idea yet. Still kind of stirring around in my brain. So not gonna share too much about that. Except for I will tell you it is a contemporary book, which, if you know me, you know that I've said multiple times before on my channel, I typically don't read for contemporary books. Not a genre that I read very much. But I have also said that there are some contemporary books that I really do enjoy, and that's because they're not the fluffy romance books. They have serious subject matters in them, and there's a serious message to them. And those are the contemporary books that I like. And so that's basically the type of contemporary book that I'm writing. I just felt like this story idea that came up was one where I was like, this is a message that I want to get out there. I think it's a message that will be very important, and it's one that I wish I could have seen growing up, and that's pretty much why I'm writing it, because I wish I would have seen something like this growing up. And so, yeah, it's going to be contemporary. But that's all I'm going to tell you about that one for now. Then I've got two other main fiction projects. One is a mermaid story, and with this one, this is the first actual fantasy book where I can imagine the whole story in my head from beginning to end. Like, usually for most of my stories, I kind of know where to start, and I pretty much figure things out as I go. I'm very much a pantser. I do not outline very often, and so a lot of times I will write, but then I get stuck in the middle, or I get stuck somewhere. I'm just like, I don't know where this is going. I don't know where I'm going to end up. But with this story, with the mermaid one, I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly where I want to end up. I have already outlined the whole story from beginning to end. It's not a very detailed outline because, like I said, I'm still a pantser, so it's not very detailed. It's more of a general, like, this is what's going to happen in each scene, kind of. So it's more of a general outline, and who knows, my characters may decide to rebel and do something completely different. They've done it before, so who knows where the story is going to end up. But I have an outline to help me, which I like because this story, the mermaid story, I'm actually saving it for NaNoWriMo in November. So this will be the first year that I'm participating in NaNoWriMo, and I wanted a story where I have an outline from beginning to end. Because if any of y'all have participated in NaNoWriMo before, you know that 50,000 words in the month of November is no joke. Like, I don't know who came up with NaNoWriMo I don't know who decided to put it in the month of November. I think that person just wanted to really screw with some writers because they were like, let's pick one of the busiest times of the year when there's Thanksgiving and holidays coming up and families coming over. let's pick one of the busiest times of the year to have writers write a 50,000 word book in 1 month. Someone really wanted to stress out writers with that challenge. So that's why I'm pretty much saving the story for NaNoWriMo, because I'm like, if I am going to try to bust out a 50,000 word book in 1 month, I need to know where I'm going. I cannot pants my way through the story, otherwise I will get stuck and never finish. So I need a complete outline, and I'm glad I have that, so that's going to be saved for later on this year. My other fantasy story is the one that I talked about in my write-in vlog, one of my first write-in vlogs. If you guys have seen that, you'll kind of know the story I'm talking about. I will leave a link to that vlog down below if you guys want to check it out. So with that story, that was the one where we had the royal family and there was a ton of murder and betrayals and affairs, and it was basically like Reign meets Game of Thrones meets How to Get Away with Murder. It's basically how I was describing it. So I'm still working on that one as well. I've kind of figured now where I want each character's storyline to start and end in book 1. So obviously this is going to be a series. So I'm kind of figuring out where each character, where they start off and where their story ends in book 1. The next thing I'm still trying to figure out is the world. So with the world, I'm not entirely sure if I want it to be in this whole completely different, high epic fantasy world that I would create, or if I want it to be kind of in our world, but back set in like 1500s, 1600s, that time period. There'll be challenges to both, and there's going to be a lot of preparation for both, because either way, if I do have it be an epic high fantasy world, kind of like Game of Thrones, then there's a lot of world building that I have to do on my part. And then if I do set it in our world, but during that time period, there's going to be a lot of research that I have to do on that time period. Though now that I think about it more and more, I'm kind of leaning more towards the epic high fantasy. But that's where I'm at. I wanted to give you guys some quick updates on some of the different projects that I've been working on, and that is where I'm at with everything. Question for all you writers out there. Let me know in the comments below, are you a pantser or a plotter, or maybe in between, a planter? And what do you like about it? And what is the hardest part for you being whatever you are? So for me, like I said, being a pantser, I like it because it makes things unpredictable and I never know where the story is going to take me. But at the same time, it's kind of a downside because I don't know where things are going to go. And so sometimes I get stuck and I just can't figure out how to move forward. So I think kind of that's my biggest issue with it. So let me know in the comments below, what are you and what do you like about it? What's your biggest issue with it? And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye!